So, Vinny texted us today, and he said that the way that the shows aired, because Nitro started an hour early, we should do Nitro first, right, Vinny?
Yes, the end of Nitro is halfway through Raw. So it makes sense to me, at least.
The end of Nitro. Okay, so Nitro started an hour early.
Yes.
Nitro started an hour early, so the simulcast that ends Nitro is halfway through Raw. So it makes sense to me to do them in chronological order, since they do overlap, and to do Nitro first, to break tradition.
Well, whatever, dude. Nothing makes sense to me right now, so run this show, Vinny.
You're doomed. We open with, for the last time, I don't ever gotta watch it again. WCW Monday Nitro, March 26th, 2001. Brian?
Yes.
The countdown is over. There are no episodes to go.
Oh, my God. I'm so happy.
I may be dancing by the end of this review.
I think about how many times I wanted to quit. But you know what, Vinny? It's a story. It's a story of success for all of you listeners out there. Do you want to know how to succeed? You just don't quit. You know what I'm saying? And we succeeded because every time I wanted to quit, I wouldn't let myself quit.
We are the picture of success.
Yes! We are the picture of success right now. I feel like I need a successor about right now, but that's another story entirely. Let's begin with this Nitro.
So Vince McMahon is backstage at Raw. He is surveying the scene. He says, "Oh yes, it's me, Vince McMahon, here on Raw."
My watch just told me even a minute of deep breathing helps. I don't know why it shows that moment, but go ahead.
He bought the competition, he announces. I own WCW. And here, on his final broadcast here on TNT, I have an opportunity to address the WCW fans and the WCW superstars. And when you think about it, the very fate of WCW is in my hands. And he had the biggest smile. This was the best day of Vince McMahon's life, and you can't convince me otherwise.
It was the worst day of everybody else's life.
I know, for sure. But he did it. In his mind, the underdog has won and triumphed over the unstoppable.
Oh, yeah. The underdog, Vince McMahon.
In his mind.
Yeah, we'll get to his speech later.
So we're at... Did anyone write down where this was exactly in Florida?
Panama City Beach, Florida.
Thank you. Panama City Beach, Florida. They're on the beach, which is not a club, it's a beach. Tony Schiavone welcomes us to a landmark night in the history of sports entertainment. And for this, first promo, it's just classic Tony Schiavone hyped to be at a wrestling show.
Dude, I haven't watched this show in, 19 years now.
Yes.
Yeah. And it is so... it would have been amazing to watch it, 2 months ago or whatever when we were supposed to, or a month ago. And, of course, it was delayed due to the coronavirus pandemic. But, if coronavirus would have never happened, it would have been really bizarre to watch this show knowing where everything went. But now that coronavirus has happened, and it's just doing a number on every wrestling promotion, and WWE is doing 1.6 million viewers in the third hour of Raw, every single thing that anybody said on the show, all I could do was go oh my God, if only you knew. If only you knew, my friends, how many times I wrote, if only they knew, in this report right here. Tony Schiavone's here saying, I can't believe it. The very last telecast of WCW on TNT. It's been an emotional last few days. Scott says, I can't believe it. What's next for us, he says. What's in store? And it was the first time I thought, oh, brother, if only you knew. If only you knew what the next 19 fucking years were going to hold.
Not to mention, everybody was... Tony was talking about being worried for his job, as most people are right now.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of that going around, too. So, Tony lets us know we will be addressed by Mr. McMahon on the last episode of Nitro on TNT. But first, all the titles will be on the line, including Booker T versus Scott Steiner in a U.S. title, world title unification match later. Flair comes out for a promo, and he starts tearing into Vince.
Fuck, I'm looking at your background here, Vinny. You went all out, dude.
I did, absolutely. Hell, I have to have a lot of credit.
God damn.
Almost all, in fact, all of these declarations. You'll keep in mind, my wife works at a swimming pool, so We just raided her office.
God, look at you.
Yes.
Man, well, I got a couple more surprises coming, but anyway, go ahead. I see our cheer goal is at 6,200, by the way. I'll make everybody a deal. If we get that cheer goal to 20,000, I'll take another shot. Got it? 20,000. No less, though. 19,900, I'm not taking another shot, but 20,000, I'll do it.
All right.
30,000, I'll unbutton another button here on my shirt. Where were we?
Can I take bits away or cheers away or whatever?
No, stop that.
I don't want you to unbutton your shirt. So Flair talks about how through all the legends, and when you're Ric Flair, the WCW.
May I do this one, Vinny? Because I wrote it virtually word for word.
Okay, you go.
This is this is one of the greatest Ric Flair promos of all time. So on my desk here, I've got Death of WCW, which you can grab on Amazon. The Audible version is free with an Audible trial. The reason I mention that is because in the book, I word for word recap this promo, which means if you get the audiobook, I play Ric Flair reading this entire promo word for word. He basically says that Vince McMahon thinks that he can hold WCW in the palm of his hand. Does that mean he says he's going to hold all of the greatest WCW legends? He rattles off names including of all fucking people, Buff Bagwell.
Yeah, Briscoe, Funk, Race, the Road Warriors, Sting, Luger, the Steiners, Buff, Steamboat.
He says at 12 o'clock today, somebody special told me not to go out there, knowing it's the last time you're ever going to be on TNT or TBS, and cry. Don't cry and say you're sorry. He says, I'm not. He says, by the way, I'm not. I have been 14 times the world champion for the greatest wrestling organization in the world. We've been on par, we've been equal to any wrestling organization in the world. We have run neck and neck with Vince for years, which, by the way, that's not true. For years, they've been getting slaughtered by Vince McMahon. He says, just for trivia, in 1981, when you were trying to become an announcer, your dad was on the board of directors and voted for me as the world champion. He says, ever since that day, I've been a limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing son of a gun. And along with the whole WCW, damn it all, have kissed all the girls worldwide, and they've made them cry. We were every bit the force. We were WCW. We lived, we breathed, we sweat. We paid the price to be the best. They failed 90% of the time. But that 10% of the time, damn it, they were the best. I'm adding to Ric Flair's promo, by the way.
I was going to say.
Yeah. It's never been about the boys. It's been about WWF and WCW in the office. The boys who have gone out there night in, night out. They've done everything they could to be the best, and those boys are here tonight. We're not going anywhere, he says. You can't hold us in your hand and dictate our lives. Actually, he can, and he did.
He did, yes, he is.
We aren't going anywhere. You can't hold us and dictate our life. When was the last time, he says, you wrestled for an hour, cut yourself, bled for 45 minutes? Where were you? He says, you weren't there. You were never in the dressing room on the road. 40 days and 40 nights, bleeding, sweating, going to the next town. You never were there. Guess he forgot Vince's career when he almost killed himself for 2 straight years, taking horrible bumps for all of the top stars, headlining pay-per-views. You can't control us in our future. And in closing, let me say this. In all my years in this sport, my greatest opponent in this company has been Sting. So tonight, if we're going out on a high note. Stinger, I want you here tonight. My greatest opponent. It's your last chance, Sting. To be the man, you have to beat the man. It's one of the greatest promos he's ever cut in his entire career. It was like the best thing on either show by leaps and bounds. Like, he's the greatest. He's the greatest of all time. I practically wept watching this promo. But we were done watching Retro Raw Nitro, so I cheered.
Well, Brian, a few minutes ago when you said we could get your book, Death of WCW, on Audible and hear you playing Ric Flair, I muttered under my breath, badly. I don't know if the microphone picked that up or not. I owe you an apology.
Oh, God, we already hit 33,000. Are you kidding me?
Are you doing another shot now?
Well, continue on. I'll pour this fucking shot.
Brian, you were a much better Ric Flair than I expected, so congratulations.
Hey, I'd be even better, but I didn't drink enough.
We'll try this promo again at the end of Nitro.
I'm pouring a shot here, everybody, for you guys. But by the way, there's no cheer goal that I will expect that will allow me to hit or drink another shot. I already know this is a bad idea, but... So as y'all know, like, the key is don't inhale. So wish me luck, everybody. Bottoms up! I'm not inhaling. Oh, I did there, though.
That's wonderful.
Okay. Let's go. I'm done drinking, but I'm ready. You want me to do that Flair promo again? I'll do it better the next time.
Let's try it at the end of the show.
Okay, let's keep going.
We'll see how the time was like there. So, yes, Ric Flair was awesome. We then go from
I'm
Ric Flair...
unbuttoning the thing anyway, because I'm fucking hot.
We
Jesus
then
God
go from
almighty.
Ric Flair being Ric Flair
Fuck.
to Ricky Rackman plugging
Sweating.
America Online 6.0. 6.0.
6.0? What are they on now? I actually want to find out.
It probably is still 6.0, I would bet. Never been a better time to sign up for America Online. Scott Steiner versus Booker T, U.S. title versus world title. So Tony makes an announcement, which I'm sure is true, where he says, we heard about this sale on Friday, but it didn't sink in until the show started and I saw Vince McMahon on Nitro. And I'm sure that's true. So Steiner and Booker T, and actually everyone on the show up and down, they went out there trying to win a job. And they wrestled really, really hard.
I forgot what I was trying to do. Yes, this match was very good. Actually, it was all right. It was short.
It went about 6 or 7 minutes. It was a
Yes.
very good 6 or 7 minute match. Steiner did a Northern Light suplex for the first time in who knows how long. But Booker kicked out of that, avoided a powerbomb, hit a bookend for the win. He is the U.S. and WCW World Champion. And if you want to make this the end of the WCW history, then he was the last WCW champion. You can certainly say that.
Did you notice that he was wearing one boot and one very heavily taped tennis shoe?
Which one?
Scott
Steiner or
Steiner.
Booker? Steiner. I did not notice that.
Oh, he's wearing a boot and a tennis shoe?
Yes, and his tennis shoe was heavily taped.
Okay, well, what I could tell you is his back was all fucked up.
Okay.
And so it's possible that he was trying to wear, maybe a shoe with an insert to try to make his hips even or something like that. But
Gotcha.
Steiner was in bad shape, but he went out there and he did his best. And yes, everybody is trying so hard to get a job. And Booker T won. He's the champion. And I thought the match was acceptable. I probably would have thought it sucked, but I took a shot, so it was acceptable. And it was actually a good match. I wrote here, good match. Actually, I wrote that we had a basic match, but the crowd was hot. But that's a good match. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
I'm reading you loud and clear, boss.
Vince is on the phone with his attorney, and he cannot believe the final broadcast is coming from, quote, a redneck beer joint. How appropriate is that, he says. I thought, fuck, dude, you just bought this fucking place. Your whole job from, this moment onward is to put them over as equal or better than what you are. If you want to make any fucking money off of this, you know what I'm saying? But he doesn't want to make any money off of this, obviously, because he's fucking everything up from the moment they started this whole thing.
He just wants to gloat. Now, before Vince called his attorney, speaking of phone calls, we had youngsters on the beach enjoying spring break who were talking about how to get a hold of relatives and loved ones along in faraway places, and one of them said, calling long distance? No way! That costs money! So we called 1-800-COLLECT, and I'm sure there's 20-year-olds right now listening to me who have no idea what on earth I am talking about. You make more sense to them, Brian, than I do right now.
I'm not sure that's possible.
The Young Dragons versus 3 Count versus Filthy Animals, with the winner getting a Cruiserweight Tag Team title shot later in the show. As far as, listen, there were only 2 things in this match. There were dives to the outside and there were finishers.
Showed some nipple. Go ahead.
There were no transitions. There was no brawling. There was no wearing down a hold. They were wearing down a body part. No one grabbed a hold. It's just, I'm going to dive outside onto somebody, or I'm going to do a finish to make a cover, and someone's going to break it up.
You know, they talk about the music between the notes.
Yes.
This was speed metal.
Exactly.
Dude, I'll say this. I watched this match, and I thought it was
Dragon Force, yes.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought and obviously I'm not, because, anyway, I would have signed all these guys. They worked their asses off. They looked great. But all I could think was, Vince is watching this and just thinking, too many saves, pal! Because they broke that 1 save rule. I think they did 85 saves in this match. They also did 85 dives, and Ray and Kidman won, so they will be getting a championship match later. I thought this was a fun match. I would have hired all these guys.
Yep.
I loved it. This is pro wrestling for the last time on the Turner Networks.
Until 2019.
Till 2019.
Brian, you'll be happy to hear that eventually all these guys did get a job with Vince, at least for a little while.
Excellent. That's good news. That makes me happy.
If you include Heartland Wrestling in that, then yes.
I've already taken my shoes and socks off as well, by the way.
I was going to wear
I'm
flip-flops.
so hot right now.
I actually had flip-flops. I was going to wear them for the show even though no one could see my feet. Oh, well.
40,000 will unbutton another button. My wife is appalled, by the way, when she hears shit like
Your
this.
co-host is appalled.
Yes.
Both
This
of
has just become a webcam now. A cam show.
It is a webcam, you fucking idiot. What are you talking
cam
about?
show. A cam
And
show.
I'm sorry for Granny and all the people watching with children. I'm trying not to swear on this program, but
Yeah,
shit
how's
happens.
that working for you?
Yeah. Vince, I feel I get 2 shits an hour, just like AW on TNT. All right.
Yeah, I was getting pretty short these days.
So Vince is in the back with Trish, and he says it's a special occasion. He wants to celebrate, and so he assaults her. That's what I wrote. Was I wrong about that?
Okay.
It's a little exaggerated, but it's whatever.
In what way?
Well, I don't think Trish was unwilling.
Well, that's true. That's true. I apologize.
It was,
not
certainly
an
aggressive.
assault. It was aggressive.
An aggressive advance. There's no doubt
Yes.
about that.
Aggressive advance.
We have a recap of Shane Helms beating
Can we
everybody.
get to 40,000 so I can undo this button? I'm hot.
Just take your damn shirt off.
No. It's a family
Shane
show.
Helms versus Chavo Guerrero. They also work their ass off. It's one big spot after another. Neither guy hits 4 moves in a row at any point. Eventually, Shane wins with a vertebraker.
Hey, at least Chavo remembered you're supposed to tuck your head, unlike Kidman
true.
last week,
Chavo
who stuck
did not
his
die.
goddamn head out and almost killed himself. So Shane Helms retains the Cruiserweight title.
He certainly does.
Yes.
Booker does a promo. He's backstage. He's put a shirt on, presumably showered. Got both belts over his broad shoulders.
More than I've done.
Says, there's a lot of mixed emotions, but being world champion and U.S. champion on the same night, we're closing WCW. This may be the end of the chapter, but there are many pages left in this book. I will prove I'm the best this business has to offer. And like I always say, don't hate the player, hate the game.
I've been told by Rob not to take my shirt off. It's against the Twitch rules. Well, I
No.
won't. I'm not trying to get in trouble here. I'm just literally, I'm hot.
If you get kicked off Twitch, I will never stop laughing.
And actually, what's funny is Filthy Tom does half his shows with no shirt on anyway. I guess he's not on Twitch.
Right.
Amazing how that works.
So Vince is with Trish, and Michael Cole says, Michael Cole walks in, this idiot. He goes, and actually, it's the best question he's ever asked. He goes, WCW fans are concerned they may never see their brand of sports entertainment again. And I was like, well, fucker, it's going to be 19 years and they'll see it again, but it's going to be a long time between now
I
and
would actually disagree with that, but go ahead.
because they certainly didn't see it in TNA.
And I'd argue they're not seeing it in AEW, but anyway.
And the WCW wrestlers are concerned. He actually says wrestlers. WCW wrestlers are concerned that they may never compete again. And many of them, by the way, were right. And Vince threatens to fire Cole. Unfortunately, he does not go through with it. And Trish,
Still waiting on that.
yeah, Trish likes how forcefully he didn't fire him. I was like, fuck, if you'd have fired him, maybe I would have made out with you. Come on.
That's why.
19 years of pain after that.
And then Tony and Scott know, yes, we are in fact concerned about our job security.
Tony's all depressed, like, are we going to get paychecks?
Yeah.
Like, well, you will in 19 years, bro, but till then, it's going to be, tough.
Lance Storm and Mike Awesome versus Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Hare for the tag titles.
So keep in mind, this is the same Palumbo and O'Hare that, like, Luger and Bagwell said, we just can't do anything with these guys. And Lance and Mike Awesome went out there last week and had a great match with them. Almost killed them, but they had a great match with them. And now here we are with a rematch. And lo and fucking behold, Lance and Mike Awesome were able to have another good match. It's like lightning striking twice. How did they do that?
It's crazy.
They had a good match. It went like 3 minutes.
Astonishingly, they all got hired.
The champions retained with the super kick and a senton.
Yeah.
Bam Bam Bigelow and Sean Stasiak did not get hired. I think they're the only 2 guys who wrestled on the show who did not eventually return to Vince McMahon at some point.
Stacy comes out dancing.
She got hired.
She got herself a job quickly.
Yeah.
And she says, I want to know how many young, strong college hunks want to see her dance right now. And she says, sorry, I'm not going to dance here. I'm here to once again introduce you to the Sean and Stacy show. And I thought, you know what? If this company hadn't died, I wonder if the whole point of this was for them to do a wedding so that she would be Stacy Stasiak. Like, is that the fucking comedy? Is that what we're going for here? I wasted literally weeks of my life for that.
I hadn't thought of that.
I hadn't either. Until I had 2 shots of absinthe. Then I had all sorts of great ideas.
Retroactively.
Yeah.
So
Oh, Stasiak was signed, Vinny. You
was?
idiot.
he was on the Invasion show. You're right. I screwed that up.
You beanie dumber. You need to take another shot. The more I drink, the more on top of things I am. I've noticed. So why don't you take another shot?
I don't have one right now, Brian. One's coming. So, anyway, Bam Bam Bigelow and Sean Stasiak had a bad match. It was not like two guys trying to get
Fuck,
hard.
it was shit. I didn't like when Bam Bam comes out. He's got a tattoo gimmick. And literally, Scott Hudson calls it a tattoo gimmick.
Yes.
He wasn't wrong.
No.
That's what he had.
So, Bam Bam hits the head, but Stacy takes the referee.
We're still 3,000 away from me unbuttoning another button.
Bam Bam goes to the pile driver. Stacy helps Stasiak escape, and Stasiak wins the neck breaker. And I wrote, well, that was awful.
I don't know if I'd say it was awful, but it was shitty. I mean,
That sounds much worse than awful.
Yeah, that sounds way worse.
As someone who has had
that's
awful
my second.
matches,
That's my second shit this hour. So I gotta pace myself
second?
now.
as someone who has had shitty matches and awful matches, I would much rather have an awful one.
What is Craig wearing? You look like Jaws.
Excuse me.
Excuse me?
Looks like Jaws,
I gotta look this up now.
doesn't he?
So I go to the front page.
Why are you wearing plaid for a Hawaiian shirt? That's not
Well,
Hawaiian.
Brian, my Hawaiian shirt did not show up.
Oh, you ordered one,
are you
didn't
gonna
show
do?
up. I was worried about that today, but it showed up.
Live on Twitch. Make sure this is muted.
Actually, showed up yesterday. I don't know how.
Oh, what a great cover shot where I'm biting my own lip. That's fantastic.
Fuck, Vinny, come on, let's get going here.
Hang on, I'm trying to get live.
So Vinny is with, or I'm sorry, Vince is with the Regal backstage. Definitely not Vinny. And they're plugging WrestleMania, which is this Sunday, which I guess, so I've heard that that's what we're watching next. Is that right? And then we're going to do the
said.
Invasion.
Well,
I've heard a lot of people suggest that one.
I'm not committing to anything past WrestleMania X7.
Anyway,
We'll see.
Regal says, well, I'm not sure about you buying this WCW. It's a bloody awful place. It's a bloody awful place.
Oh no.
The things that go on there are nonsense.
Oh, God.
And he doesn't want Vince to get into any trouble. And Vince says, I'm on the case. In hindsight, Regal was right. It is a bloody awful
how
place.
many subscribers we have from the UK who just canceled?
Yeah, there's 4 a.m. They're not watching. Hey, listen, I tried. I respectfully...
though?
I did try! Fuck you.
Dallas Page.
Oh, this poor guy. This poor
Dallas
guy.
Page was on the beach. He didn't
He
even bother
says,
going to the
he says,
building.
I've loved every second of this journey. I want to thank all the wrestling fans for letting a kid from the Jersey Shore become Diamond Dallas Page, the guy you said would never make it, but he did. If you want it bad enough, he says, and you're willing to keep watching these fucking shows, anything is possible. You too can finish watching all the Retro Raws and Nitro. He says, it's not the promoters who decide who is over, it's the fans. Yeah, maybe in 2001. Fucking not today.
Well, not now
Wants to thank
nobody's
the
over,
fans and Kimberly for believing in him, helping him live the dream. He says, is the dream over? I don't think so. It's time to take this to another level. If only this guy knew. Stalking the Undertaker's wife, getting squashed, buried. Fuck. This guy should have been one of the biggest stars of the Invasion. They fucked it all up. Why? Because they don't know what they're doing. This was the beginning of Vince being shitty at his fucking job. You heard me.
I heard you.
We had a recap video of the great WCW champions of years past, including Roddy Piper, who was never a champion. The Big Show made this clip. Farouk made it. So did Great Muta and Barry Windham, who had that NWA International belt, or whatever they called it. It was a great video. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's the first time WCW actually pulled out a decent production package.
That's the history of the fucking company. I hope they do it right on the last day. I was asking a lot.
Vince tells somebody that he knows what time it is, and he's going to go get ready.
I know what time it is. It's, I can't find it. Someone tweeted. It's 8:39. That means it's time for Vince to go down to the ring and say something stupid.
You need a tweet to tell you what time it is.
No, I don't know. I tried to get the time, but somebody tweeted, so it covered up the time.
I see.
Distracted me.
Elix Skipper and Kid Romeo versus the Filthy Animals. Tony has been biting his tongue this whole time.
Oh, boy, did he cut a fucking promo. This guy.
He says, I've put up with a lot tonight, but I'm just sitting here listening to Steve Regal bury the company after we worked so hard to put his ass over. He was very unhappy about all that. So, I wrote a lot down here, not about the match. They had another sprint. It was less insane than the first tag team match, but still pretty insane. Elix Skipper, on the very last episode of Nitro, did maybe the only ocean cyclone suplex in the history of Monday Nitro, watching his Manami Toyota tapes. Kidman avoids the play of the day, wins with the Kid Crusher, new and last Cruiserweight Tag Team Champs.
Sweet. I thought it was a good match. It's just
Pretty good, yeah.
rushed. A lot of things rushed. Sting then does a promo with bats hanging from the ceiling.
He's surrounded...
But it's baseball bats.
Yeah, not like vampire bats. Someone hung baseball
Don't
bats
you understand
from
the kind of bats that hang from a ceiling? It's vampire bats, not baseball bats.
That looked to me like a Vince idea.
Might have been. So Sting says, not for nothing was I going to miss this night. This is a historic night. He actually said, this is an historic night. I wouldn't miss it for anything. Rick, you and me started this company. We're going to do it one more time. And as for what happens after this, when it comes to Sting, the only thing for sure about Sting is nothing's for sure. It's showtime, folks. And he, of course, quoted himself there in the start of the Crow Sting angle. The only thing for sure about Sting is nothing's for sure. More from America Online 6.0. Vince McMahon walks down the hallway, passes some random dude, says, "How you doing, pal?" Ric Flair versus Sting. The most appropriate possible main event for the last Nitro, because as the announcers noted, a lot of guys, there was a time when it was cool to go to the World Wrestling Federation, and Sting never did. Since Bill Watts, he's been with this company, and Sting and Ric Flair started Nitro in Minneapolis in 1995. They headlined the first Clash of the Champions in 1988 against Vince McMahon's WrestleMania, and here they are closing out the last Nitro. So, I know we say this every time, but it's still true. Every Ric Flair Sting match is exactly the same, and they're all great. Even Tony says, we've seen it so many times, and God, we love it, each and every moment. And Hudson asks who was going to win this final match.
I hit 40,000. I'm undoing a button.
Here on Nitro on TNT.
God.
The answer is Sting.
I feel
Scott
like
Hudson.
Flair, except he wrestled with his shirt on here. Can you believe that?
Sting is winning the last match on Nitro on TNT. Superplex, Scorpion, Flair submits, and Sting immediately helps him up, and they have a big embrace. And Hudson says thank you to Steve Borden and Ric Flair.
All right, so I love this match. Like, you can't have a bad Flair-Sting match. And the only thing that I could think, which I'm sure is what everybody thought, is why couldn't Sting have beaten Scott Steiner last week, and then Ric Flair beats Sting in the main event of the final Nitro and wins the title? And obviously there are a couple of arguments for that. And one of the arguments is, well, Flair's not going to WWE. And that's true. They didn't sign him immediately. But, like, fuck, pay the guy $25,000 to come on to one Raw and lose the title. You know what I'm saying? Like, this totally should have ended with Flair winning the title. I know people will say, well, he's a heel. Dude, if Ric Flair would have beat Sting to win the WCW title on the final Nitro, he would have gotten the biggest babyface pop of anybody on this fucking show. Or if you would have wanted to have Flair win the title and then Sting beats him for the title on the final Nitro, fine. I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but I just watched this match and thought, God damn, like, Flair and Sting for the title, final Nitro, who cares? Change the title on a Raw or a pay-per-view or WrestleMania or whatever. Pay the guy $25,000. It's just, I love this match. And just looking at the history of WCW, they're talking about how Flair made Sting in that 45-minute draw, which is like 15 years earlier, 1988. Like, this should have been a championship match with a title change or Flair leaving as champion. Flair or Sting should have left as champion. But they did what they did, and that's that. I love the match, though. Like, even when Flair... If you remember, like, Flair's last big match in Impact was against Foley, that match was fucking awesome. He was, like, older than dirt. And he had a great match out there with Mick Foley, who was banged up and hurt and beaten up. He's just the greatest. Flair's the greatest of all time. Now, I can't figure out why he was a 14-time champion when he left WCW and a 16-time champion when he went to WWE. That I can't figure out. But shit happens, I guess.
So at this point, the simulcast begins. And we cut away to Vince McMahon coming down to the ring for a second time because he came to the ring too early the first time. Because doing a simulcast is hard when you're in two places a few thousand miles apart and you've never worked together before.
Fucking struggling.
So Vince makes a very, very long speech.
I'll cut to the chase here because it just fucking went on forever. It did go way too long.
Of course it did. It's Vince McMahon gloating about his greatest victory.
The point of all of this is he said that I fucking finally bought my competition and I could do whatever I want and I could shut the place down, I could put it on the shelf, or I could do something with certain stars. And he asks for everybody to give a thumbs up. He's going to say everybody's name, thumbs up, thumbs down. And so he starts rattling off these names, and the funny thing is, like, everybody that everybody cheered, he fucking didn't bring in. But, like, everybody that they booed, he did bring in, because he fucking sucks at his job even in 2001. And so, like, the first person he says is Hogan, they boo. Luger gets booed. Bagwell gets cheers. I guess
Bagwell got more cheers than most people.
And I guess he did bring him in. Booker T gets a mix. Scott Steiner gets cheered. Fans started Goldberg chant. Of course he doesn't bring in Goldberg. I mean, why would you have Goldberg in for a fucking invasion?
It's too much money, right?
Seriously. So Scott Steiner gets cheered. And anyway.
The other key point to this before we move on is Vince mentions the deal has been done. He's going to buy WCW, and they have signed the contract. But he himself is not going to sign his contract until Sunday at WrestleMania, when Ted Turner himself walks down the aisle and presents him with the deal.
When he said that, I thought, oh, that doesn't fucking happen. Like, what is this fucking guy talking about?
Well, there's a point.
Then I thought about it, and I remember what happened with Shane. But yes, that was what he wanted. He wanted Ted Turner to walk down to the ring and hand him the contract. Because in Vince's mind, and actually I don't know if this is Vince's mind, but this is like his public mind. You know, it's all about him and Ted Turner. It's all about him versus a billionaire. And his big comment is, you know, how do you beat a billionaire? Well, you become a billionaire yourself, he says. And I was just watching this thinking, fuck, you're getting killed on Wednesdays by Tony Khan. But I guess he is a billionaire. But anyway, this was... Finally, Shane appears. Not a moment fucking too soon. Because Vince is just out there fucking talking forever. And Shane announces that Vince's ego's got out of control. He says, you wanted to finalize the deal at Mania? You have the audacity to ask Ted Turner to come down there and finalize the deal. Well, that was the opportunity I was looking for. The deal is finalized, and I have bought a world championship. Vince does the biggest gulp in the history of Vince gulps. He looks like he's about to have a heart attack. Shane says, the name on the contract is Shane McMahon. I own WCW. And just like WCW did in the past, they kicked your ass. And they're going to kick your ass again. I was just watching this thinking, you know what I thought when I watched this?
What's that, Brian?
Well, at the time, I was part of IATA, which was before its time. It was streaming streaming radio show. And we took calls. It was an internet radio show. In fact, every time I go to anywhere, I always have people coming up saying, I've been listening to you since IATA. I'm like, oh my God, I'm fucking 200 years old. But anyway, so on IATA, after this show, we opened up the phone lines and we said, what should WWE do with World Championship Wrestling? And if you ever listen to IATA, and I mean this with all due respect, we had some of the dumbest fucking callers of any fucking radio show that's ever existed, okay? Like, think of Observer Live today and all the callers you hate. Like, the callers on IATA were worse, okay? So, every one of them that came up with an idea of what to do with World Championship Wrestling, the dumbest fucking caller, they had a better idea of what to do with World Championship Wrestling than what Vince McMahon did. Like, he was dumber than any caller that we had on IATA. And I watched this, and I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, what you could do if you just hired all of the top stars. And I don't want to hear the bullshit about how WWE couldn't afford Goldberg or this bullshit. Like, this was the fucking richest they'd ever been. They could have hired fucking anybody. But they came up with a fucking idea that was so goddamn stupid that by the time they killed WCW, which was 8 months fucking later, actually, let's say it was Survivor Series. So, I'm going to try and do math drunk. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, 5. They got 8 months. They got 8 fucking months out of WCW. You know how fucking dumb you have to be and shit at your job to only be able to get 8 months out of buying World Championship Wrestling and having the opportunity to hire anybody there and do a goddamn invasion angle. They did the shittiest invasion pay-per-view. Like, the main event was all WWE guys facing each other and a couple of guys from the supposed ECW and the supposed WCW. They still did 770,000 buys. Do you know how many buys they would have done if they would have had Flair, Goldberg, Hall Nash, all of the biggest stars, Sting of WCW? They would have fucking blown up the world. But he was such a fucking dick that he had to hire 24 guys, and God bless him, but it wasn't Sting, Flair, Goldberg, Nash Hall, the biggest stars. He just hired 24 guys. He used a bunch of WWE guys for the invasion. They still did a fucking giant number. And by November, the fucking number of people they drew for that Survivor Series was embarrassing. And for the pay-per-view, it was embarrassing. He killed that fucking thing off in 7 months. That's a fucking genius? No, that's a guy who sucks at his fucking job, and he continued to suck through fucking 2020, and we are where we are today. This is not hard. Every idiot caller on Observer Live had a better idea than Vince McMahon did. And he fucked the whole thing up, and it was an embarrassment. I apologize to all the families out there, Granny, everybody listening to this. I'm just telling you how shit happened. It was sad.
And think about this. We didn't even see Sting until, 4 years ago?
How do you screw this up? By being incompetent and cocky. That's how you screw this up. And he did it.
So,
I'm done.
the speech is made.
I'm about to collapse.
Did he even get to the part where Shane comes out and reveals he bought WCW? I forget if he said that or not.
I didn't get to that, but yeah, I did. Shane came out and bought WCW and talked about how Vince was cocky. And
yes, so it's Shane versus Vince at Mania, and this was the end of the last Nitro. Jim Ross hurriedly plugs Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock versus Kane and The Undertaker in the main event on Raw. It fades to black, and a screen comes up and says, "Good night and goodbye, Satellite."
This is the end. Goodbye and good night, Satellite. Mm-hmm. Yes. Goodbye and goodbye. Good night and goodbye, it said. Yes. Satellite.
So, when this ended, I was like, there was like 2% sadness for all the reasons you just mentioned. 2% joy because it was a fun show, but 96% just relief. It's done. I'm a free man.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful.
All right, are you ready for your song?
I'm almost ready for my song, Brian. Let me.
Well, I got something special here that you can thank Whitney for, because she had this. Because of the two of us, she's the smart one. She had a brilliant idea, and so what I have here, Vinny.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I agree with you. She's a smart one.
I have a ukulele, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play your music, and I'm also going to play it on the ukulele. Are you ready?
Sure.
If I can find it, because with my sunglasses, I can't see the computer. All right, you ready for this?
As ready as I will ever be.
By the way, we have a caller, I think, on the line that I totally forgot about till just now. But if you're the caller, do not make any noise while we do this. Got it? All right, Vinny, do your report. Here we go. Where is it here? Hold on. All right.
For the very last time, the finishes on this show were clean pin, clean pin, clean pin, clean pin, pin after interference, clean pin, and a clean submission.
What do you think about that?
Close file.
Fuck yeah, baby. I just did a concert here on the air. Everyone asked, oh, can you sing during the break, Brian? I just played the fucking ukulele.
Before we even move on,
I want cheers for that.
Before anything else happens, I'm going to do my file. WCW Monday Night, where I keep my notes. Double click, move to trash. It's gone. It's out of my life.
I would save it and try to make some Amazon money off it. I may do that with all my notes. Hey, so we got a caller on the line. Caller, are you there? Caller.
I'm here.
Yes, Rob. What's going on?
Oh, you know, when you said, I was funny, I'm sitting here watching the Twitch stream and the Twitch feed and the Twitch chat as it's going on, and as soon as you said...
I'm running a fucking show drunk, everybody. Why? Because I'm a professional.
Lance, Tom, Lance. I'm like, oh, fuck, man, they're going to be so disappointed.
Well, of course they are, because it's Rob. God bless you, Rob.
Well, yeah.
You're no Lance Storm, and you're no Filthy Tom Lawler. What's going on, dude?
I am not.
I called you because we often ask... Hey, shut up for a second. I called you because we often say, yes, Rob, and you have something stupid to say, and we go to you, and then I mute you, but you couldn't be here tonight, but you have been part of this journey for like 2 years. I haven't fired you for 2 years, which is astonishing. So I thought that I would bring you on the show here and give you a chance to say hi to everybody. At F4W, twitch.com/F4W video. What would you like to say?
Hey, everybody, honestly, the first thing I want to say is I'm surprised it's been 2 years and you haven't fired me either, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah. Hey, everyone. We're here watching the Twitch chat. I am sad I can't be there with you guys or be
I'm
online.
not.
But
I'm actually happy,
I
but
get
go
to see
ahead.
You.
I want this thing
know
to be
you are.
recorded.
Fair enough. By the way, Vinny, I have to tell you, if you haven't seen my tweet already, but you look almost exactly like Hannibal Lecter as he's sitting on the beach waiting for Dr. Chilton to get off the plane. At the end of
Hannibal
Silence of the
Lecter?
Lambs.
That's the
Well, thank
best
you,
you
sir.
could come up with? He's a killer?
It's pretty close, actually.
He's a classy man with a taste for
Flesh.
beans and wine.
Wow. That's so I made you wait on the hold for like an hour, and that's what you came up with, that Vinny's Hannibal Lecter?
I had that before you even had me on hold, but
Have you been drinking anything? Like, what's going on?
of course. I have my Woodford Reserve bourbon here.
Oh, nice.
And in fact, I say I probably have about half of a glass here. I was going to do a shot with you guys, but
Let's do a shot.
All right, my
Hey,
lovely
do a
bride
shot.
has.
No, I'm not doing a shot unless I had 50 grand. If I had 50 grand, I'll do a shot.
Well, I'm going to drink more.
They better do it fast, because like we're only at 40,000. So it's like when you bid yourself out of a fight, like you go, I'll fight Tom, but I want $2 million. But that means you don't want to fight. This is a bunch of horse shit.
I have a blue Hawaiian here, appropriate for the party atmosphere. And yes, those are goldfish in the
Excellent.
Travis mug in this. And there's a pineapple here. It's kind of disintegrated, but that's all right. So I'm ready to drink when you
how
guys
you
are.
feeling?
Right?
What is
How
that,
you feeling,
Vinny?
Vinny?
Say what now?
What is that?
It's a blue Hawaiian. There's a blue curacao, and if you only knew what I had to go through to get some blue curacao today.
Well, what's in it?
rum.
What's in it?
very
Curacao, rum, pineapple juice, and a little bit of triple sec. Which is not
Triple suck?
triple sec, right? It's supposed to be
What is
sweet and
that?
sour mix, but
What's
much
triple
of
sec?
my, God, you're such a horrible drinker.
Well, no shit. I drink once a year.
It's an orange liqueur, Brian.
Hey, Brian, by the way, you have 2 more absence shots you need to do to beat me from the Christmas show.
Well, Rob, I don't want to beat you. What I want to do is I want to stay alive. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm alive.
Barely.
but
I've
I'm
seen you.
alive.
Exactly. All right. Well, they only hit 43,000, so I'm not taking a shot. So, Vinny, you and Rob
All right,
do this.
I'm drinking. It's not a shot, but I'm going to have a drink.
All right.
Rob, you ready?
Hey, Vinny, salute,
Yes, sir.
my friend. Craig, salute. Brian, you too.
Salute, Rob. You weird guy. Vinny, you got to
It's gotta
chug
be weird.
that
I
thing,
just wanna
dude.
include everyone.
I'm
I'm
watching
chugging
you on video, and you're being lame.
Oh, there's something new.
Chug that shit, dude.
I'm not going
What
to
are we
chug
waiting
it.
for?
I'm going to enjoy this beverage, Brian.
I don't want you to enjoy the beverage. I want you to suffer.
I don't want to suffer. I want to enjoy a beverage.
God, you're an idiot.
You think I'm here for you? I'm not. I'm here for me.
Well, I'm paying you to suffer.
Well, then you don't pay me enough.
You understand?
It's been 6 years. Come on now.
It's been a lot more than that.
I know.
Oh, Nitro, you mean? Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
Well, I guess we have another show to review, don't we?
we do.
I'm
Seems
tweeting out one more time so people can hear us. Rob, I'm not going to leave you on the line because, like, you'll just breathe into the phone and just be weird. But hey,
If you're lucky.
I miss you. I can't wait to choke you again. And I hope you and your family are doing well.
That is the sweetest thing I've heard in the last 5 minutes. So thank you, Brian.
You're
and,
welcome.
And likewise.
You're welcome, my friend. I'll talk to you again later.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
Yeah, get out of
Much
here.
love, Rob.
Get out of here. Thank God you're not fucking this show up.
Hey, Brian.
All right, yeah.
I'm having second thoughts. This drink is delicious. I'm going to drink more.
Yeah, do it.
I may just finish it now.
Hanging up on Rob. That incompetent. I mean that in the nicest way possible.
No, a little more.
Yeah, these people only got to 45 grand, so like they put all their money in, but they ain't getting a shot. So I refuse to take a third shot for anything less than 50 grand. That's it. You hear me?
What was the 50 grand? Okay.
Yeah. Got a ways to go, baby.
Do we even want to do Raw? I feel like we should just talk about whatever.
No, we have to do Raw. Like, we have to finish this, Vinny. Like, Vinny, listen to me. Look at me.
I can't see you, but okay.
Pretend.
Okay.
Look at where the camera is.
Yes.
I'm looking at you right now, okay? I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm about to say, all right?
Yes.
We...
Oh, there you are. Hey.
Yeah, listen to me.
Hey,
Listen.
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 Oh my
Look
God,
at,
you're nude.
Listen to me and listen, okay? We...
Okay, Joey Ryan.
Oh, please. Do not make me pull out my member. We are done with Nitro.
Yep.
So all we have to do is finish this Raw, and we're done with this journey. Now, granted, we're going to continue watching Raw probably, but Let's finish this journey, and then we'll talk about the next journey. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Okay.
Homie? I like homie. It's my Twitch homies. I want to shout out my Twitch homies that have tried to kill me tonight. I appreciate you guys. Okay? Twitch.tv/F4W video. Now we will talk about Raw. Let's continue on.
WWF Monday Night Raw, also March 26th of the year 2001.
Hold on, I can't find my notes. All right, I got it.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. So Vince is backstage. He's got 2 TVs.
Oh, God, they hit 51. Okay, hold on. I actually was excited to do this, I'm not going to lie.
Hold
on a minute.
Brian, did you personally just bid 5,000 more to get over the hump there?
I did. I asked for it. I asked for it.
No, you personally bid.
No, I didn't put it in my own money. Are you kidding me? Okay.
That would be silly.
Whoa, Daddy.
That light keeps going.
You know what this is, everybody? You know what this is? One more for the road.
Woo.
Here we go. Ready? Vinny, you drink with me. Craig, do another
Mine's
countdown.
gone, dude. I finished mine.
Well, get something else.
I don't have anything else.
All right, Craig, do the countdown.
In 3, 2, 1.
I breathe.
What was that?
I belch and breathe.
Yeah.
That was a bad combination. I breathe again.
Okay.
Keep doing that.
Oh, fuck. Jesus God almighty. I took 3 shots of absinthe. Dude, let's get this done before I die. Oh, fuck.
WWF Monday Night Raw, March 26th, 2001. So Vince is backstage at Raw. He's got 2 TVs. One has a sign on the top. It doesn't say Raw and Nitro. For some reason, one says WWF, and the other says WCW.
Dude, can I talk about this very quickly before I get just, like, out of my mind?
That is why we're here.
Okay, so Vince is bragging. He's the owner of WCW. He wants to address the fans, but shit, doesn't matter. But then he says, as far as the Jeff Jarretts of the world are concerned, yes. I suspect we now spell Jeff Jarrett G-double-O-double-N-double-E, gone! He's fired, he says. So anyway,
Goodness.
What this was, everyone, this, you know what, you know how you make a baby?
Excuse me?
And like,
I've heard.
you know the sperm fertilizes the egg?
What's happening?
No, Vinny, am I wrong?
Families
No,
lost
Brian,
their-
that's
There's
how
a
babies
sperm
are made.
and an egg, and the sperm fertilizes the egg. You know what I'm talking about? Okay,
Sure.
dude, that's
I've
what
heard.
happened right here for TNA. He made a baby. He created TNA in this moment.
WCW.
No, Craig, fucking not. No, he made TNA. He fired Jeff Jarrett.
I see.
Yes, Jeff Jarrett went on to form TNA, and for the next 15 years of my fucking life, as I suffered to watch that fucking show, it's all because of this fucking moment right here.
That is true.
Thank you.
That is true.
Thank you.
If he had just hired Jeff Jarrett, total nonstop
Oh
action,
my
it never
God! If you
existed.
just hired Jarrett then.
Just give him back his
He
blinking
fucking
hat.
hires him in 2019. Like, motherfucker, what were you waiting for? What were you waiting for?
Are we to gloss over how Vince spelled gone Goonne?
Don't worry about it, Vinny. Don't think
They
too
never
much.
die.
Excuse me? Oh, yes,
They
yes,
never
yes.
say die.
Yes. Hey, we've all been to Astoria.
I gotta put everything away. It's gotta be put away.
Anyway, yes. The other key, the other actual point of discussion here is Vince had them load up footage of Jarrett for the WCW TV, even though Jarrett
What are you doing
was
with your
not on Nitro
hand?
tonight.
Stop putting your hand up by the camera. What is this?
God, you're
Are you
whining.
healing the listeners? Put your hand on mine.
One of us needs healing, Brian. It's not me. We go to WWF New York, which is packed tonight.
Oh yeah, fuck it. It's packed in a year later when it was out of business.
The main event tonight: The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Undertaker and Kane, or as Jim Ross calls it, a slice of tag team hell. So Kurt Angle comes out for a promo. Paul Heyman. I'm getting a strange text. Paul Heyman alerts those who didn't watch Nitro the war is over and Vince McMahon is the winner. And Angle says, everyone's talking about the big news. The guys backstage are talking about it. The fans are talking about it. The announcers are talking about it. And the big news is with less than a week to go to WrestleMania, I still don't have an opponent. He tries very hard to say gobbledygooker, which I don't think he ever actually did successfully. But the gobbledygooker has an opponent, and I don't, and that's a disgrace. If they won't give me an opponent, he says, I'll just keep complaining. That made me laugh. So out comes Chris Benoit, who notes he does not have an opponent for WrestleMania either. He has been listening to Kurt complain and whine and moan for a week now, and Angle's voice annoys him. Angle's claim to be the best wrestler in the WWF also annoys him. But what annoys him most of all is knowing that he can make Kurt Angle tap like the bitch he is.
You know, the most annoying thing is, you may have said something I wasn't listening to because I was texting my Twitch homies. But when Kurt Angle said the gobbler, I laughed so hard. I wasn't even drunk at the time. I was sober. He says, I can't believe the gobbler has got a match at WrestleMania and I don't. And for those of you that don't remember, it was the Gimmick Battle Royal. And I don't like to toot my own horn, but I did predict the winner because I fucking knew there's no way the goddamn Iron Sheik can go over that top rope and not be killed.
Yep. I
predicted he would win, and he did. And Benoit comes out here, and all I could think is, bro, like, you fucking have a WrestleMania come in, and you don't have a match for Kurt Angle or Chris Benoit? Like, no wonder the fucking invasion fucking sucked. Like, you're an idiot. And they come out here, and they do a promo on each other, and Angle says, I'll never tap out of that crossface thing. Benoit says, you saying you're the best technical wrestler in WWE's crap. He says, I'll make you squeal in seconds. Or Angle says this. Benoit says, prove me wrong. So they brawl. Benoit puts him in the crossface. Angle furiously taps. Team Eck breaks it up. And I just thought, dude, I've been watching this show. Like, I guess we stopped for a while, but this right here is the best build for a match I actually care about of anything. And just fucking threw it together at the last minute on the go-home show. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Their brawl, the 10 seconds of brawling they did was so awesome. And they were perfect opponents for each other. The issue is, I think I'm better than you. Let's fight. It's just so simple and easy. It's two great wrestlers with this simple motivation behind the feud.
Yeah, I was arguing with some moron on the board that I banned who thought that Triple H was the best wrestler in the world in 2001. I guess because he got Wrestler of the Year. Not understanding that the fucking Wrestler of the Year is like the MVP, and they fucking renamed it because that's what it is. And the actual best wrestler in the world is the best technical wrestler, which was Chris Benoit. Yeah. But, I mean, fuck. Benoit and Angle were so much better than Triple H, and Triple H was a good wrestler.
Triple H was great.
But, like, the idea that Triple H is a better worker, a better wrestler than Benoit or fucking Kurt Angle, like, you're on another planet, dude. You're trolling. So I got rid of him.
Blue Hawaiian was significantly stronger than my Jaeger bomb.
Yeah, that third shot of absinthe was a fucking bad idea.
It has hit me hard and quickly.
At least I can help put Paisley through college.
So the opening bit had Vince watching Jeff Jarrett on Nitro when Jeff Jarrett was not on Nitro. Now he's watching Lex Luger and Buff Bagwell on Nitro when they were not on Nitro either.
Yeah, he says the Lex Express is running out of gas. I'm like, no, it hasn't. But I know what you mean.
Buff has been stuffed, he says.
Yeah.
So Vince is on the phone. I don't know, Craig, what that means. Vince is on the phone with Stephanie, tells her and Triple H to take it easy on their vacation. And I'm so dumb, I thought, on the go-home show for WrestleMania, Triple H is on vacation. He plugs the main event tag match for later. They go to Michael Cole and Deborah. They're standing next to each other, and Michael Cole's going to ask her a question. It takes him like 3 minutes to ask this question. The question eventually is, can Austin coexist with The Rock tonight? Which is a perfectly fine question, but it takes him forever to get there. And she's just standing there with her arms crossed the whole time, waiting patiently, waiting. And he finishes his question, and she just says, I don't want to talk about it. And she leaves.
Yeah.
What are you doing out there?
I don't know what anyone's doing out here. I don't know what I'm doing out here at this point.
Taz versus
No more
Val
shots.
Venus.
If it gets to 10 million, I'm not taking a shot. I'm done.
Taz versus Val Venus in a lumberjack match. They called it a lumberjack match. There were maybe 6 people out there.
What a fucking waste of time. It goes a minute. Taz wins. It's a waste of time.
There's a lot of interference.
Nobody even got thrown out to get thrown back in. It was stupid.
No, they just were out there fighting. Val misses the money shot. There's interference with somebody. It doesn't work. And Taz wins with a Northern Light suplex. 2 of those on the last day of the Monday Night Wars. Vince and Regal are backstage discussing Animal, who I had not realized was on Vince's shit list. Yeah.
Animal.
Mm-hmm.
And
just watching
Regal.
Hawk and Brawl for All. Now that I think about it. If you listen to the Filthy Tom show, we break down Brawl for All and like we're watching MMA in 2020. It's a fucking awful tournament. But you know what? We both concluded, and apparently Bob Hawley said this in his book as well, that like Steve Blackman would have won. He's the best guy there.
Yes.
Yeah, by far. Like I watched it and I was like, that's a guy that actually knows what the fuck he's doing.
He had one fight, I think against Mero, and he took him down like 50 times, and no one could stop his takedowns. So
dude, his takedowns were the greatest. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's I remember that.
Where are we?
There's a commercial for the XFL.
Oh yeah, XFL commercial.
A classic Mania moment, which is Pete Rose getting chokeslammed and stink-faced.
Where the frick are we?
Doink is in the crowd to promote the Gimmick Battle Royal.
Hold on, what was the last match we reviewed? I'm lost.
Taz and Val Venis in the Lumberjack match.
Okay, so they plugged the Gimmick Battle Royal.
They do. Here are the names.
And then Regal comes out for a promo. Yeah, let's off the names for the Gimmick Battle Royal. I'm going to predict who wins.
Corporal Kirshner. Of all people. We just
Corporal Kirshner? No. Hold on a second. Are you serious? He was in that Battle Royal?
Yes, that's what he's in this
Oh,
graphic.
my God. Dude, you know what's funny is, I guess Dutch Mantel did a tweet today, and he said he'd heard a rumor that ESPN and Disney were buying WWE. Like, fucking ESPN and Disney are going to work together. But anyway, I thought, you know what?
Brian.
All of this fucking...
Brian.
All of
you
these...
realize Disney owns ESPN, right?
All of these coincidences that we talk about on the show, there would be no bigger coincidence than the week that we review WWE buying WCW is the week that Vince sells WWE. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be the fucking perfect conclusion to this journey. I don't think it's true. But anyway, what was I talking about?
The participants here in the Gimmick Battle Royal.
Oh, yeah. Who were they?
Corporal Kirshner.
Oh, yeah, Corporal Kirshner. Who the fuck put him in this thing? He was a legend? Like, God bless the guy.
No, Brian, he's not a legend. He's a gimmick.
Oh, he was a gimmick. That's. But this is supposed to be a gimmick. It's supposed to be like a...
Well, and none of these guys were supposed to be gimmicks at the
hold
time.
on a second. Was Corporal Kirshner, like, really in the military?
Jeez. He wrestled in Portland as John Rambo, if that helps you.
That doesn't help me,
Is that the
Craig.
same guy? I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally the same
All right,
guy.
so Corporal Kirshner...
Is this the guy Art Bar shot on then?
Oh, he was in the U.S. Army. He was in the... He was a paratrooper in the 82nd...
Showed him parachuting. He's
82nd Airborne Division. He left the Army when he was in his early 20s. So he was actually a military guy, Vinny. Paisley's always talking about the thirth. I'm trying to teach her third, not thirth. I'm saying.
Oh, I know what you're saying, Brian.
What am I talking about?
I know what you're saying, Brian. Corporal Kirshner here in the Gimmick Battle Royal.
What's going on?
Sergeant.
Where are we? That third shot was a bad idea.
I'm trying to get through this.
Okay,
graphic.
hurry, get through it.
Corporal Kirshner,
Fuck.
Sergeant Slaughter, the Bushwhackers, Nikolai Volkov, Iron Sheik, Kamala, Brother Love, the Gobbledygook Group, Michael Gage,
I'm giving you my hand. Reach your hand to mine. I will heal you.
Brian, talk about William Regal.
I'm off the rails.
Oh, you don't say.
This is
I thought
worse.
you had it all together.
This
I
is
thought you were
worse.
running a tight ship.
This is the worst than the Christmas show. I'm gonna try and retweet this.
What?
It's bad. I think I may have tweeted its boss. Who cares? Gives a fuck. Go. Can you all cheer me? Because I'm trying so hard. I'm being quiet now. I'm muting myself.
He's not. I'm going to start talking about this match. He's going to interrupt me for the 83rd time. William Regal comes out for a promo. He says, I am here to discuss W.C. Fields. W.C.
Wait,
Fields
who?
says-
I'm going to mute myself again. You see Fields? Fields?
Fields, Brian. W.C. Fields. The only cure, W.C. Fields said, for insomnia is sleep. And he, meaning William Regal, won't sleep until he is the new Intercontinental Champion, and he beats that filthy, lowlife, miserable toe rag Chris
All
Jericho.
you friends on Twitch making fun of me. I have a message for you. Go ahead, Vinny.
Tonight, he will fight someone from a legendary fighting family, the Hollies. Out come Crash and Molly. And Crash begins to cut a promo accepting Regal's challenge, but as soon as he turns his back, Regal says, "I didn't mean you!" He decks Crash from behind, throws him out of the ring, grabs Molly, throws her down, puts her in the Regal stretch.
So I'm gone.
Crash saves, but Regal overwhelms him, puts him in the Regal stretch as well.
Can I tell you all a story after you do this? Finish up,
At this
Vinny.
point, Doink the Clown makes the save, puts Regal in the walls. Regal is tapping frantically, and Paul Heyman asks, all of a sudden, Doink is a great wrestler? And the answer, Mr. Heyman, is yes. Because it was Matt Bourne, and Matt Bourne was a great wrestler as Doink. Doink was always great. And eventually the referees break it up, and Doink unmasks, and it's Chris Jericho and Regal seething that they've gotten the better of him.
Okay, so listen. I made fun of Miz the other day for doing the worst kip-up I've ever seen, okay? If I get 55,000 in cheers,
no.
I'm going to take all this shit off, my headphones, I mean, not my shirt. I'm going to go right over there if Jared can follow me. He's our producer today because he's competent, unlike Rob. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to do a kip-up while drunk on 3 shots of absinthe, okay? 55 grand, I'll do it. Go ahead. This is bad.
So Vince is backstage watching this with Trish. You know, speaking of embarrassing.
Where are we?
William Regal was just...
Oh, yeah, when he talks about
embarrassed
breasts, Vince goes,
No.
who
No.
would want to look at Trish's boobs? Such big, soft, succulent breasts. And they cut away. What a creep. You know what I'm saying? He's a creep.
So the context to this, everyone, is that Vince brings at the time Dustin
Don't cover
Rhodes
your face, Craig.
Dustin Rhodes, apparently, while working for Vince McMahon, actually wanted Vince to pay for actual breast implants for Dustin.
That's right.
And Vince is describing how absurd this
I'm
would
drunk, but that's a true story.
Yeah.
Vince is noting how absurd this would be, and as he's describing them in detail, he looks down at Trish's own enhanced bosom and describes them as voluptuous, succulent, and tender.
Tender?
Yes.
Fuck.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
You gotta low heat, long time. Right, Craig?
Yes, low and slow.
Thank you.
Wow. All right.
I'm just telling you how to cook, Vinny. This has nothing to do with their breasts. Like, if you're cooking ribs or bacon, I've been cooking bacon lately.
I have 2, actually.
And I found that low heat for a longer time makes
Yes.
for better bacon.
You fry
Yeah, I'm
up
not
the
saying
bacon.
anything sexual here, Vinny. I'm talking about cooking.
You fry up the bacon, and then when the bacon's done, you add your vegetables, stir all that together, and you have
Vegetables. I had eggs.
I got spinach.
Yes.
Vegetables. Who the fuck eats vegetables?
Tomorrow I'll have cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
William Regal tells
disgusting.
Coach to tell Jericho that he has a non-title match tonight against the Big Show.
Button this up again.
Edge and Christian go to meet with Kurt Angle. They all have a match tonight against the Hardys and Benoit. Angle keeps insisting over and over again, I wasn't tapping you guys, I was reaching for the ropes. And they say, sure, Kurt, whatever. They introduce him to their friend Rhino, who comes in snarling and spitting, and Kurt asks, what the hell is that? And Rhino says, I go way back with these guys. Any friend of theirs is a friend of mine. And Christian takes Rhino away, and Kurt turns to Edge and says, I don't know about the intelligence and the integrity, but he's damn sure got intensity.
Yeah, it's somewhere around here. I don't even know where it's at. I did like when Regal... There's a recap with Heyman, and Heyman says Jericho made a bozo out of Regal. Have we gotten there yet?
I think we're right there. I think you're in the
Okay.
right spot.
Yeah.
So Paul Heyman says, never in high school, never in college, never in the Olympics, never in the WWF has Kurt Angle tapped out before.
Why would he fucking tap out in amateur wrestling? What's he talking about?
Probably because there are no tap outs in high school wrestling or collegiate wrestling or the Olympics. But there are tap outs in the WWF, and he had never tapped out before. The Austin Rock video airs to Limp Bizkit's My Way.
That was a good video.
Dude, this is the best thing on either show. I know you love that Flair promo. This is the best.
No,
hype
the
video,
Flair promo was better, dude. They
the
made a
best
lot of...
hype video WWE ever did.
They
Steve
made
Austin
so
and
many
Rock-
good music videos over the years. This was good, but it wasn't as good as the Flair promo.
And I will say this is unfortunately an abbreviated version. I think there's a longer one that is the whole song. I also love, by the way, before they show the video, they're showing the announcers, and they're plugging Rock in Austin, and but the song's playing over the arena, and there's a grandma, and I do mean a grandma, in the stands behind them singing along to Fred Durst. That was funny.
Okay, so we hit 55,000, so I got to do a kip up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly move over there. I'm going to make sure the cameras are pointing at me. And then I am going to show that drunk on 3 shots of absinthe, I can do a better kip up than The Miz. So
Now, is your life insurance paid up?
Oh, fuck off, Vinny. I'm not going to
You have 2 daughters to
die.
provide
I could
for.
break my leg.
Great time to go to the hospital, you know.
Hey, Jared, turn the camera towards me. I want to make sure this is on. All right, you got it on me?
Craig, can you see what's going on?
No.
I promised I would do
Jared,
this.
put it up
Get
on the
ready.
screen, buddy.
Looks like we're on here. All right, ready? Watch. I at least got to the ground. On 3. Count, Vinny.
1, 2, 3.
Drunk. Fucking drunk. Let me do one more. I fucking killed it.
Congratulations, Brian, on your ability to do a kip up after 3 shots of absinthe.
That was for all of my... Actually, it was a bad kip up. I'm not going to lie. I cheated. But that was still better than Miz's. You know what I'm saying?
That's all you have to do is be better than Miz.
That wasn't hard! I'm staring at a mic for some reason. I don't even know why.
You're at the good news is that you're at the right microphone.
Okay, I got to mute myself because I'm out of control. Go, Vinny.
So they recap some of the video from SmackDown where Jim Ross interviewed Steve Austin and The Rock together. They bury each other's T-shirts for a while. They bury each other's catchphrases for a while. And Rock says, "Come April 1st, the 2 biggest stars in wrestling will meet." And Steve Austin says, "Rock, on a personal level, I want to beat you. But on a professional level, I need to beat you, Rock. There can be only one WWF champion, and that will be Stone Cold Steve Austin. With all due respect." Brian was a better Ric Flair than I am a Stone Cold Steve Austin, but it was a great promo, and the build for Austin Rock here is off the charts great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here is the bit where Coach is asking Deborah like a 200-word question, and then she doesn't want to answer it, and then she walks away. I was wrong about the other one. So Vince tells Trish it's time to go gloat. He needs one more kiss for luck, and she kisses him. Here is the simulcast. We already recapped it. I'll recap it again.
Good.
Said everything that happened the first time, just again on Raw. Then after the simulcast,
How are you so, on top of shit, Vinny?
I'm better at my job than you are, Brian.
Oh, fuck you. What are we on?
The simulcast. We just recapped it.
What's that mean?
Well, it's time for what's after the simulcast.
Yes. I could have sworn that both shows the simulcast ended with.
Well,
that was a badly worded sentence, but
I found it.
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant.
So Vince is on the phone screaming at attorneys?
Yes, that's where we are.
That was very realistic. I wonder why.
How could you possibly let that happen? You son of a bitch! You good for nothing! You ruined this whole damn thing. And Brian, I know you said this last week, but it's still true. No matter what you think of him as a human being, Vince McMahon is such a great performer.
Hey, listen, everyone. I'm going to do one more kip because I was embarrassed by that last one. So hold on. I'm going to do a real one. So, go towards me. Jared, please. Thank you. Vinny, I want to give people their money's worth, so I want you to do a countdown. I'm going to do a real one this time.
All right, say when.
Countdown.
3, 2, 1.
I think that was better.
It sounded like a kip up.
I can't tell if I'm any good or not. It's hard to tell if I'm any good or not. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure your Twitch homies will let you know.
I'm just trying to help all my Twitch homies and give them their money's worth for this. It's the last show, dude. We should celebrate. You want to see a cartwheel? I'll do a fucking cartwheel. I'll do a handstand. Here, film me. I'll do a handstand.
Watch me, Mom. Watch me.
Vinny, count to 5.
1.
Wait, hold on. I got to go up first. Ready? Count to 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 seconds. The Miz can't do a goddamn kip up. I did 5 seconds. Drunk on fucking 5 shots. Wait, how many did I do?
3.
I don't even remember. But I did a fucking handstand for 5 seconds. I stood on my fucking hands upside down. How can you not do a goddamn kip up?
3.
How can you not do a kip up? Seriously.
I can't do a kip up.
Okay, I'm done. I'm meeting myself.
I actually randomly tried one last week. I still can't do it.
I'm leaving. Continue.
Chris Benoit and the Hardys versus Edge and Christian and Kurt. They had like maybe 2 minutes. The gimmick is Rhino is goring all the sidekicks through tables, or at least goring them and taking them out of the ladder match for Mania. So he gored Spike through a table on SmackDown. Here, they do like 2 minutes. Benoit taps out Christian with a crossface. The brawl goes on afterwards, and Rhino gores Matt and then gores Lita. So in theory now, Spike Dudley and Lita will not be able to help their respective teams in TLC 2 at WrestleMania.
I don't know what was up, but man, these last few matches were a sprint on both shows, really.
That simulcast clearly went long. Although it went to the top of the hour. I mean, it went over. I don't know.
This show,
I'm belching a lot.
without the commercials, was an hour 41, which is about 11 minutes longer than usual.
Yeah. Another XFL commercial. Then a clip from SmackDown of Hunter using a sledgehammer to open The Undertaker for 16 staples. And yes, there was a lot of blood all over the place.
Yes.
And Kevin Kelly asks The Undertaker how it feels for Triple H to have the night off. Which I thought was kind of a dumb question.
Mm-hmm.
Undertaker says he can take as many nights off as he wants. I'm a patient man. He can hide behind McMahon. He can hide behind the police. He can hide behind his skank old lady. But at WrestleMania, in 6 days, I'm going to step off in his ass. At Mania, he says, these soup bones are going to be covered in Hunter's blood. If Rock and Austin aren't on the same page tonight, they may not even make it to Mania. And he and Kane leave. Test versus X-Pac with Eddie Guerrero as special guest referee. I don't know why Eddie was the guest referee. It's every horrible heel ref match you ever saw. Well, he'll fast count the guy he doesn't like, which is Test, in case you've forgotten. But he won't just count 3. So a lot of stuff happens. There's a belt shot. There's a second ref in there. Albert interferes. I don't even know what else. X-Pac wins. All I know is, in the end, this got more time than the trios match did, and that pissed me off.
Where are we?
There was a ref bump to the heel ref, and there was no disqualification.
I don't know.
What match are we on?
Eddie or Test and X-Pac.
Oh, yeah. Nothing happened.
Right.
Thank God you're here. Austin is pouring himself a cup of coffee when Michael Cole goes to allegedly ask him a question. As God is my witness, here is Michael Cole's question.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
His question is, you have to team with The Rock against Undertaker and Kane. Which is not a question.
No.
It's a sentence. It's a statement. And he holds the mic to Austin, who has not been asked a question, and Austin looks at him like a dumbass and walks away because he was a dumbass.
I just want everyone to know that I peed. I did not puke. So I feel better. Let's continue on.
Did you make it to the toilet or just like in a random corner?
Dude, I feel fine.
Did you do it straight up in the air?
No, I didn't.
Excellent callback there, Rick.
That's callback.
If I'd still been trying to do kips, I might have peed straight up in the air and then kipped
What a
into
show that would
it.
have been.
Yeah, that would have been just disgusting. I'm saying.
That's going to get photoshopped soon. I can't wait till the best of Brian and Vinny for that clip.
Dude, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that we're done.
We're done.
Yeah, like so many weeks I was like, dude, I can't do this anymore. And you know the thing, I'm sobering up a little bit here. I'm not going to take any more shots, so stop fucking cheering or whatever. But, so, when we started this, I had no babies. You know what I'm saying? Paisley wasn't born yet. Hanley wasn't born.
Hang on. Are you saying you had no children when we started?
Yes.
0?
Yes.
Well, where'd they come from then?
So now we've got 2 children because of my unbuttoned gimmick here. And the point of this is, like, I love playing with my kids. And on Tuesdays, I'm going to have to fucking devote 4 hours to watching these 2 fucking... It'd be one thing if they were, like, good shows. And Raw's good sometimes. But, I mean, Nitro's so awful. Yeah. And, like, you know, I'm fucking watching this awful Nitro. And I'm like, you know, Paisley's out there, and she's running around in the grass. She's playing with her baby sister. She's having so much... She's so cute. She's never going to be this age again. And I'm fucking watching Nitro. And, like... I just sit there, and I know everyone thinks this is like a dream job. And listen, this is a fucking dream job. I'm so happy to be doing this. But at the same time, like, Your kids are growing up, and you're fucking watching Nitro. Like, that's bullshit. So I am so happy that we are done with this fucking Nitro. And like I said, we can watch whatever you guys want. Like, whatever you want us to watch, we'll watch. But I ain't fucking watching 2 shows ever again and spending 4 hours on a Tuesday night watching all this shit while my kids are growing up. It's just not going to happen. I'll watch 1 show. That's it. But fuck, the Nitro is so bad sometimes that I'm like, what am I doing? I watched this once. I wrote a book about it twice. Like, what the fuck am I doing watching this awful shit again? I do it for you guys. I don't mean to be like sappy here. I realize I'm drunk. But we do this for all of you out there, and we love you guys. But now that it's over, I still love you, but I'm not doing it anymore. It's fucking done, okay? It's done.
I love you less.
I love them as much, but I'm not watching anymore. Go ahead, Vinny.
Mick Foley comes out for a promo. He has not been seen since he was fired right before Christmas. He says, I'm not here to plug my new book, Foley is Good, which is available May 8th. I'm not here to go on vacation right here in Cleveland, Ohio. I am here because WrestleMania wouldn't be WrestleMania without Mick Foley involved. So I have made myself involved. And then before he can announce any more, Vince's music hits, and he comes out on the ramp, and Foley, and it actually makes sense by the end of this, but Foley's reaction to seeing Vince McMahon is the most casual. Hey, Vince! That made me laugh.
He's got a plan, quite frankly.
He has a plan.
Yes.
So Vince says, you're trespassing, I'm going to have you arrested. Get out of my ring. Foley goes into a very long history lesson. To make a very long story short, when he was still commissioner in December 5th of the year 2000. It was
What a fucking stupid storyline this was.
Yes, absolutely.
One night after Vince McMahon returned to the company, Foley went to Linda, and they signed a bunch, and I mean a big giant stack of papers they had to sign. Which actually,
Was he buying a fucking car?
Well, no, Brian. I'll tell you exactly what they were doing. Foley apparently signed a giant stack of papers. And the paper he signed here, to cut to the chase, it lets him be a special guest referee for any match he wants at Mania. He's going to be a special referee for Vince versus Shane. But the point is, since they have signed a giant, practically infinite stack of papers, anytime they want to inject Foley into any storyline for any reason, they have a logical reason now. It was in this papers that he signed in December 5th, 2000.
This was all very convenient.
It was very convenient. And like, if you remember back to when Mick Foley was actually fired in December, like, he's so sad and he's so miserable. Yes. And it's like, where were your fucking papers then? You know what I mean? Like, I've mentioned this before, the third Lord of the Rings, when, like, the fucking Ghost Army shows up. I'm like, what a load of bullshit. Like, a fucking Ghost Army shows up? That's bullshit. That's what this was. They just came up with a fucking storyline months later. It's bullshit. Yes. But, like, the fans, they go for it. And that was it. They accepted that he's refereeing Vince versus Shane.
That's some crystal ball that Mick's got.
Yeah, sure is.
The Big Show slams a locker shut. Chris Jericho goes for a walk. Vince is backstage. He's just silently moping. He's defeated. He's broken. His plans have been foiled by his damn bastard son, Shane. He's heartbroken. He's despondent. He doesn't know what to do, right? He looks over. There's this plate of chocolate-covered strawberries that he had ordered for Trish. They're sitting there. He's got nothing else to do. Fuck, I guess I'll eat a strawberry. And he takes a bite of a strawberry, and it's rotten. He spits it out. He's just even more disgusted now. That was so great.
I wrote, Vince having a bad day.
Yes.
Is that about what happened?
That's about what happened.
Okay.
I'm trying so hard to get through this show. Chris Jericho versus The Big Show. Kane attacks The Big Show.
Can I read this? Because I wrote it down. I was infuriated. Show just beats him up. Kane comes out, attacks Show. Raven comes out, attacks Kane. Regal comes out, attacks Jericho. Big Show pins Jericho with a chokeslam. Kane attacks Big Show. Raven attacks Kane. I could say it was better than it sounds, but it wasn't. It was exactly what it sounds like.
It was exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, this was shit.
It was a series of random run-ins to build to the respective Mania matches. Yes, Big Show did win, for those of you keeping score at home.
I wrote here, and I was totally sober when I wrote this. Rock with a backstage dude. What happened here?
Rock is looking for Steve Austin's locker room. He passes a random man and asks, where is Steve Austin's locker room?
That sounds like a dude to me.
Mm-hmm. The random dude says, it's down that way. And Rock says, down that way? Do I go down and take a left, or do I go down and take a right? And the random dude says, down and to the right. And Rock looks at him and says,
Sounds like the Zapruder film.
Rock says, are you new? The dude says, yes, I am new. And Rock goes back to him, extends a hand and says, The Rock. And the guy takes his hand and says, and Rock just says, no. And he walks away. As only The Rock could do.
He was polite.
He was polite. He did not tell him it doesn't matter what his name is, but at the same time, he made it clear it doesn't matter what his name is.
Right.
The Dudleys are at WWF New York. They say Spike is hurt, but he's getting better. It will take more than what Rhino did to keep him down. When it's all said and done and the smoke clears in Houston, these tag team titles are coming back to Dudleyville.
Dudleyville, whoop-de-doo.
I don't think
This fucking company, this restaurant was dead. Another brilliant idea by Vince. Like the invasion. They should have invaded WWE New York while they were at it. Just kill two birds with one stone.
The Rock finds Steve Austin. He explains, I don't want to team with you tonight. You don't want to team with me. But if you don't mess with The Rock won't mess with you. And he starts to walk away when Austin grabs him and pulls him back. Says, that's all cool. But when the match is over, all bets are off. And Rock looks at him and says, that's understood. And he leaves. So the main event is Undertaker and Kane versus Rock and Steve Austin.
Dude, after all this, like the biggest WrestleMania X7 main event, Rock versus Austin, like these fans like didn't care. The crowd was dead. I mean, they popped a little bit here and there, but when you think about Rock and Austin versus Kane and Undertaker, the go-home show for WrestleMania X7, this should have been fucking gigantic. And they're out there, and the people are just watching, and they don't care. And Steve Austin gets a hot tag, and they're just like, oh, yay. And they're watching him get a hot tag. I was just amazed. Like, I expected this to be, like, huge, but it wasn't.
Well, all four of them were babyfaces. That's part of why. But it's very clear to me, at least, for this crowd, Steve Austin was top guy 1, Rock was top guy 2, and there was a huge drop-off to Kane and The Undertaker. So they do a match. It's a fine little Raw main event. Austin bonks into Rock. Taker grabs Austin, is going to hit the last ride, but lo and behold, here's Triple H. He's not on vacation after all. He waffles Undertaker with a chair, and Austin falls on top and gets the win. So Taker stares down Hunter for a while, just a close-up of the Undertaker's face for like 3 minutes. Austin begins to have a beer bash. He takes like 4 beers from the beer thrower, and he opens a beer and sets it down, and he opens a beer and sets it down. He is giving Rock all day to get into position, and Rock obliges and gets into position behind him slowly. Austin opens one at a time, like a half dozen beers, crunches them all together, pours them all down his face, and then when he turns around, there's Rock to boot him in the gut, hit him with a stunner, his own move, and leave Austin laying. He opens one more beer, leaves it next to Steve's head, goes to the top of the ramp, turns around and salutes him with one last beer of his own, and the show fades to black, and the Monday Night Wars are over.
Dude, the words I wrote here, that's a wrap, kids.
I survived.
Fucking that is a wrap. Vinny, I want you to do your finishes report, then I'll have a last little speech here.
Do you have a ukulele, Brian?
I do have my ukulele, but let me hit your music, and then I'll play it. So, are you ready?
I'm ready when you are, sir.
I think I had your music up way too loud. I may have fucked something up, but fuck, who cares? Here we go.
The finishes on this show were pin despite interference, submission or disqualification, I'm not really sure, clean submission, pin after interference with a crooked ref, pin after interference from 3 men, and pin after interference.
Okay. Hold on. Hold on! All right, fuck. Hey, listen. I realize I'm drunk. I'd be emotional, but, like, I'm so drunk I can't be. But I just want to thank everybody for listening for 6 years we've been doing this. Like, I can't even believe it. Like, we started, and I figured we'd do it all, but I didn't really think about it. And then as we did it, like, every week, I'm like, what in the fuck are we doing? It was so fun at 95 and 96 and 97. And then, like, early in 98, which, by the way, you can read back old Figure 4s, like, March of 98 is when we knew this fucking thing was disaster. Like, March of 98, which was, 2.5 years ago recording this shit, if I recall correctly. I mean, that's when it started getting bad. And, like, we watched one I'd be emotional now, except I'm so glad it's over. Like, we watched so much bad Nitro. that I'm glad it's over. And I think that like the overarching thing that we got out of rewatching everything is that quality-wise, the Monday Night Wars were a little bit overrated. The WWE side, like, I think we can all agree that, like, the best year of WWE during the Attitude Era, or during the Monday Night Wars, was 97. Like, that spring through fall of 97 where, you know, Bret Hart's there, Shawn Michaels, they're doing the Canadian versus USA feud. That was by far the best stuff. Bret Hart got screwed. Then Vince rose, and you had Vince as the top heel versus Steve Austin as the top babyface. There was a lot of good stuff there. But, like, you know, there's a lot of things that people remember through rose-colored, and ironically, we're wearing glasses now, rose-colored glasses. Like, there was a lot of stuff that was no good. And WCW, they were awesome in 95. They were great in 96. By midway through 97, they were going off the rails. I think midway through 97 was when Luger won the title, and it was so awesome, but then they beat him, like, the next week at Road Wild. And then they fucked Sting. And then, like, from 98 on, it was a fucking disaster. And Russo shows up. It's the worst shows we've ever seen. I think we can all agree that 2001 was overrated. Like, everybody remembers that 2001 was great. It wasn't great. It was better than the Russo stuff in 99 and 2000, but it wasn't that great. And, you know, WWE was, they were hot, and the people loved them, and there was some good stuff. There was some great stuff. They had, I mean, there was something we'll never see again, which was you had The Rock, you had Stone Cold Steve Austin, and you had Vince McMahon all at the same time. Like, no shit, you had a boom period. Rock was just the greatest. He goes on to become the biggest movie star in the world. Steve Austin was the greatest. Vince McMahon was the greatest heel. You have those three guys, like, in a big triangle. I mean, it was the greatest. But, you know, after that, it dies. We can go into that later if we want to. I mean, it was the best period of pro wrestling. It was not quite as good as people remember. There's a lot of rose-colored glasses. There's a lot of shitty stuff that people repeated for 19 more years because they thought it was good, but it actually sucked. I'm glad we did this, and I'm fucking glad it's over. And I just want to thank everybody for following along for the last 6 years. Some of you signed up because of this. I heard a lot of reports about people that used to pirate the show, but then they signed up to follow us on the Retro Raw Nitro. I really appreciate it. I love you guys. I love everybody listening now on Twitch. We will continue on in some way. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but we will continue on, myself, Vinny, and Craig. I just want to say a big thank you for everything over the past 6 years. Vinny, Craig, and I really appreciate it. And that's all I got to say, so thank y'all.
Word.
What a speech, Vinny. You really followed up my speech with some words of wisdom there. You have anything, Craig?
I just, remembering back when we first were doing the Tuesday night show, we were still reviewing Current Day Raw and some other random show after that. And just one day that popped up on the network, oh, they're starting to rerun all the Nitros, and you said, hey, they got the Nitros on there, let's watch that. And I figured, okay, a couple episodes. Little did I know.
Little did we all know.
Little did I know, 6 years later, I'd be in my office reviewing the last one. It's crazy.
It's crazy. But hey, we all want to thank you. We really appreciate it. I've had a lot of people that have emailed. I got so many emails today from people that said, you know, I when you first started doing this, I had no kids. Dude, I had no kids. I got 2 kids now. And they're talking about how they listen to this every week. It was destination listening and how much they appreciate us. Dude, we appreciate you guys. Like, it was the same thing when we started. Our lives were very different. It was 6 years ago. But we all stuck through it all together. Now here we are at the end. It's funny. I was thinking about this today. If coronavirus had not happened and we would have stayed on track, we wouldn't have been able to do any of this. Like the Twitch stuff and all the fun stuff that we did here tonight. The only reason we were able to do this was because coronavirus delayed everything for a month. So, as shitty as this is, it's fucking shitty, and we're all affected by it. I mean, we were able to do some stuff we wouldn't have been able to do because we delayed. And I want to thank everybody that's watching along on Twitch. It was a lot of fun. We're done. I appreciate and love all of you. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Craig. And I think that's it.
It's been a pleasure.
Yep.
We're done.
Kind of.
We're done, everybody.
I'm just done. That's all I care about. I'm done.
That's right. Thank you all for listening. We'll talk to you again after a while.
See you guys.
Adios.
Good night.